Okay.
Anyway, paleo, the Whole30 program, paleo itself is a little more loosely translated. It's focused on lean meats and produce. That's, you know,
And fats.
and healthy fats, plant fats. There are a lot of other diets out there, gluten-free, Atkins, all sorts of other things. The thing that makes this one, I think, so effective is that it's natural. It doesn't, that's the main thing, is you eat from the fridge, not from a box. There you go. The minimal processing is going to be ideal. The difference between paleo and me is that I am encouraging you to track your macronutrients, where paleo just says, eat healthy foods, which is great, except that if you have certain goals with your body, we use fats in a certain way, we use protein in a certain way, and we use carbs in a certain way. So if you're actually programming for those macronutrients, your results will be even better. So that's kind of the difference. I can put pure distilled water in my gas tank. My car is not going to run. It doesn't matter how pure that water is. It needs gasoline in the gas tank. It needs water in another place. So if we have all the right things in the right places, in the right amounts, the car is going to be super efficient. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's recap the week a little bit. Last week, we went into more detail. We introduced the Whole30 program, which I will do again in another 4 weeks. So I'm just going to cycle through it. So we do intro, and then we talk about some different things each week. Any questions since our conversation last time, where we talked about what paleo means and did some Q&A and talked about some recipes and things? How's your week been?
Miserable.
Has it? What? Okay, what's
Well, I'm not gonna lie.
yeah,
I've been
it's
pretty
hard.
pictured.
Okay, so what's been a challenge for you?
The same foods over and over and over and over all week.
Okay.
So I need a variety.
Okay. What have you been eating?
Chicken breast, steak, tuna, and veggies.
And veggies.
And
Okay.
then I've been eating that vegan protein powder.
The protein
That's
powder.
kind of interesting.
Okay.
It's a little different.
It's more fun if it has extra flavor in it, huh? Did you
Well,
put it in almond milk?
I do it with almond milk
Okay.
and like a banana. Either I do half banana on low carb days or have full banana on high carb
Great.
days.
Okay.
I mean, it doesn't taste bad. It's just got like this weird gritty taste to it.
A little bit. Yeah, the vegan definitely has a little bit of a different texture. Once your 30 days is up, that's something else to think about. Like, what things do I want to try to put back in and see how I do?
Right.
So for the first 30 days, think about that too. We're just trying to completely detox. But
Yeah.
I do want to talk about some alternatives, some new recipes and things today, and
Right.
some more ideas, so we'll definitely get to that. Since you've been working detox, is there anything that you feel like has really just you haven't been able to get or incorporate or overcome?
It's a lot of the planning. It's
Okay.
really what's hard. It was a lot of the math with the macros and how many
Right.
things, and we had met, and it kind of dawned on me. But it's a lot of the planning.
Okay.
The recipes aren't bad. I mean, I like them. I'm doing okay with, staying away from the cheeses, and I think eggs is something that I do want to incorporate.
Okay.
Just because, I can eat the egg whites in the morning and it's easy for me.
Okay.
The liquid egg whites, so I don't know
Yep.
if you guys like those, but those work for me in the morning. It's quick, it's easy.
Okay.
But yeah, I think the planning is what
Yes.
A challenge.
is a big challenge. Absolutely.
Okay. And that's it. It is a lot of work.
Oh.
It
It is.
really is. I get that. So we'll talk about some ideas with that too.
Okay.
Since yesterday, how's it been going?
I'm 2 meals in.
All right.
Yay.
So far it's okay, but yeah, I probably spent half an hour last night trying to figure out what my shake this morning was going to be
Mhm.
to try to get the macros right. And,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so that I seriously probably spent half an hour just trying to, okay, so what if I add this? What if I take that? Like, what should be in here? So then I figured that out, and it was okay, and I made it this morning, and it was fine.
There you go.
But then I came home, and again, we went shopping last night, so I have all the food. But then I'm like, I walk in the door, it's 9:15, and I'm like, okay, I have to leave in half an hour. What am I going to eat? So
Yeah.
then it was like, whip out the laptop, like what,
It's hard, yeah.
what, so I just did a sweet potato and some chicken and half a banana, and I'm like, okay, this works
Yeah.
for now.
And
But
you,
then-
you do. You have so many of the things that you fall back on. You're like, okay, I can just do this. I can't tell you how many times I've had like green beans, chicken, and 5 strawberries for breakfast because I had 3 seconds.
Right.
You know, it's like, so okay, you have those fallbacks, but then the planning is then what is going to make it more
Right.
interesting.
So like then the rest of the day, no clue. That's where I need to
Okay.
catch up and like figure out what I'm gonna eat the rest of the day, because I don't know.
Okay.
Because I
Great.
can see just being like Joe, I'll be like, okay, well I can have chicken.
Wait, chicken!
I can have some
tuna.
I know, I chicken. Yeah, I'll be good for about 3 days, and then
Right.
I'll like,
It gets old, yeah.
yeah. So
Gotta look how to change
it's just I have my book here. I need to look at the recipes and,
Perfect.
and pick a few out that I like and make them this weekend.
Okay.
So this, so
Yeah.
during the week, like
Sorry.
Wednesday, when
It's easy just to
I
pick up
can
and
just
go.
pull something out and eat it.
Yeah,
and not
that's
have to
exactly
think
what
about
needs to
it,
happen.
Yep.
If there's no preparation time, then that's good
That's
for me.
right.
It's like I just pull it out and I know I can eat it. Like yesterday for lunch, I missed a meal. I've lost my appetite now.
Really?
It's really
Well,
bizarre.
it's hard to overeat then. Yeah.
So like yesterday, I had my shake, and then I had my appetizer meal, as you call it, my after workout meal. I didn't work out yesterday, so I had that a little bit later. I forget what that was. And then for lunch, which turned out to be my dinner, I had like this massive amount of food. I was like, oh my God, is this too much food? 2 cups of salad with cucumbers and tomatoes and some vinegar. Then I had my steak, which I had with carrots and celery. And then I had my little orange things, half of a cup of that. And then I had something else. Oh, it was like a sweet potato or some butternut squash or something. I don't remember. But it was like this huge amount of food, and it was a little overwhelming.
Okay, valid point too. What do what happens if it feels like it's too much food? So, okay. All right, a couple things then. First, with one thing that I really want to address that we're trying to accomplish in the next 30 days is to reduce inflammation, okay? We hear that word batted around all the time. What in the world does that mean? Do I have inflammation? Is it fatal? I don't know. Okay, so there are a couple different kinds. There's acute inflammation, which is like something, there's acute localized inflammation, which is what you would get if you sprain your ankle. Bam, came on suddenly, it doesn't last that long, it's a localized area. Then there's systemic acute inflammation, which is the flu. All your tissues are reacting to trying to get rid of the toxins that your body is dealing with at that point. Yeah? Okay. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about chronic systemic inflammation, which is brought on by your body responding because of like chemicals, dyes, artificial ingredients, things like that can leak through the lining of the stomach. Unfortunately they'll sneak out. They don't get processed out like hopefully you'd want them to. Preservatives or like all that kind of stuff, they can actually leak through the lining of the stomach and the intestines and be put into your system. So then we've got these foreign particles that the body's trying to get rid of, which then creates the inflammation, the extra fluids and blood throughout the body working to try to rid you of these foreign particles. The problem is then other stuff doesn't get as much attention. So then you're tired and you feel puffy and lethargic and kind of like you got a hangover a little bit. And it's, so that's why it's a problem, especially if it continues for a really long time. So the 30 days is the toughest part because you are trying to get everything out of your system and allow your body to heal itself from any of that that's been going on. Once the 30 days is up, then we can go back. We want to try to maintain the spirit of the paleo program in that you are going for unprocessed, unsaturated fat, natural, whole, fresh, That's the thing. But if you're like, I absolutely can't live without brown rice. Okay, let's put some brown rice in. You want to still focus on those other parts. Is it natural? Has it been processed? Can you get it organic? Even better. You know, let's put in some of those things, but you put them in 3 days at a time, just like with the add-ins from the detox.
Mm-hmm.
You take that one thing that you want, you change that, and you put it in. Do you end up in the morning feeling all puffy? Do your joints hurt? Well, then that's not a good option for you. Leave it out. Try it again in 3 months if you feel like you still, you know, maybe you've adjusted. I have one client that's been doing paleo, and she really wanted to have a pita. And it's a whole grain, flaxseed, low carb pita, you know, no processed ingredients or anything. She had half of one. It had 5 grams of carbs in it. Weight was up 1.5 pounds the next day. I'm like, you know, clearly that's not something that's good for you. Now, me personally, if it fits all those other things as far as just being a healthy food, it doesn't really matter to me. Fit it with your macros. If it works for you, great. So anyway, that particular thing for her is not ideal right now. So that's what you want to do with the eggs. Since you have not been having them, put just that in, make only that change, and if there's no reaction, then you're fine with them.
Okay.
Then they'll work just fine. So at the end of the 30 days, then you're going to start making this list. You're like, I'm going to try this first, and then I'm going to try this. Go for it. As long as it fits all the other guidelines of what we're trying to do, you can have it as long as it doesn't cause any problems with you. So clear on the inflammation thing.
Yeah.
You just don't want to feel like you have a food hangover all the time. But the other part is that when this first 30 days first begins, you have 7 to 10 days of a system adjustment where your body's like trying to figure out, like, the palate's changing, you're getting used to the way flavors are different, your body's not getting the stimulus that it was getting before, and it's a little freaked out. So you can feel like you have maybe, you know, it's called the carb flu. But you kind of feel like, okay, you went through that when we first started the detox. It just felt like you had a few days of, you know,
Blah.
yeah, blah.
Yeah.
But once that's cleared out, energies like this, and suddenly you start to actually taste the real flavors in food. And the cravings for the crap exit, because your body begins to associate how it feels with the flavors that are being brought in. And this, oh, I don't know if I can give up pizza for the rest of my life, doesn't, you may or may not decide you want to try to have that later, but you'll find that the desire for a lot of things goes away because you are feeling satisfied by what you're getting. So forget about the, can I give this up forever? Just get through the next 30 days and wait and see how you feel. All right, so that said, let's talk about some easy ways to make the menus more interesting, okay? All right, first of all, with food prep.
She just told you you're normal.
I told you,
Yeah.
well said, yeah.
It's all normal. There's no fun.
Anything that you can do in large quantities, especially that can be used in several different ways, makes your life easier. The Whole30 book has some base things like that. It has like I can't remember what they call it. Like they have the mass quantity of beef, and they have the large quantity of a few different things that then can be used as a base for a bunch of recipes and cuts the prep time way down. So some examples of that would be, I like to crock pot turkey breast, pork tenderloin, lean roast, chicken breasts, things like that. So this last week, it was turkey that we did in the crock pot this last time, or was it pork?
It's chicken.
It was chicken?
We did pork first of the week, chicken in the middle of the week.
Okay. So you just get your big old, your pork tenderloin, get off any of the extra fat that you can, or your turkey breast, get off the fat. Plunk it entirely in the crock pot, just like that. And then you can put a jar of salsa on it. You can put a thing of pepperoncini peppers on it. What do you want for a little flavor? That's it. Just, or chop up an onion and some celery and put a couple of cloves of garlic in there. Done. You don't need to put any water in, nothing. You put the lid on, you turn it on when you go to bed on low. In the morning, you shred it, put it in the fridge. Let it soak in its juice, and you've got 10 meals worth of little 3-4 ounce portions. You can just separate them into little dishes, and you can use it for salads. You can use it in frittatas. You can use it by itself. You're a scoop of meat. Any of that kind of stuff. Put some crushed tomatoes in there and some like Italian spices, and you have kind of an Italian flavored sort of thing. Anything. But you could get an extra crock pot. Do 3 of them. Do a turkey with mushrooms, and do a chicken with pepperoncinis, and do a pork with like some pineapple-y kind of, put pineapple in with the pork. Yeah. And you can get those kinds of, it's easy. And then you've got your base thing to go with everything, okay? Have a little fun with the flavors.
The pork takes longer to cook than the chicken and beef. Chicken and beef's overnight. The pork takes a night and a half a day or something.
So you could leave it in there longer. If it's on low, you could actually let it simmer for 24 hours. So put it in at night. When you come home from work the next day, shred it. It's fine. The crock pot's not going to burn it if you have it on low.
But you don't add water?
No, it creates its own juice.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You have to add water if it's frozen. You put like a half cup of water in the bottom. If it's fresh, if it's thawed, no water.
Okay.
Just by itself. That's it. Super, super easy. A Mexican style would be like jalapenos. Throw some jalapenos in there, a little bit of cumin, oregano, chili powder. Perfect. And you've got something interesting. Okay, so how in the world do you do wraps? Collard greens. They're big old leaves. You can buy them. Meyer has them. You get a bunch of leaves. I think it's like $1.75 for a bunch of them. Take a big frying pan and fill it 3/4 full with water. Boil the water. When the water is at a slow boil, so it's just at boiling, okay, you take a collard leaf, you cut the stems off so you just have your leaf, and you put it in the water for 1 minute. Pull it back out of the water, drain it. You can put them, then you can lay them flat, like with paper towels in between them, in a bag, in like a Ziploc bag in your fridge, and those are your wraps. So you take the collard green, you put your meat on it, you layer it with some cucumbers and some red onions, that kind of stuff, and you roll it up and you have a wrap. And it's kind of like a spinach flavor. So it's not, and it's not soggy or it'll give you that hold it together sandwich kind of thing. Where we're not putting any grains in right now. So that's how you can get it, from the collard greens. And you just, we did burgers the other night with them. We did turkey burgers. You take extra lean ground turkey. Make sure you use the extra lean stuff, okay? And because the extra lean doesn't hold itself together as well, you mix it with egg whites. We like to chop up things like onions and mushrooms and put that in it too for extra flavor. So we did a pound of extra lean ground turkey, made it into 6 little burger patties, grilled them, and then I had a jar of charred roasted red peppers in water only. You can buy those by where all the jarred peppers are and everything. So it's water only, roasted red peppers, and we took out so the burger, a little bit of guacamole. You can buy the little holy guacamole individual packs, and you can use like half of one at a time, and then just push the thing down on it so it stays fresh. So you put guacamole on there, and then you put on your red pepper, wrap the leaf around it, and Mrs. Turkey Burger. So good. Weren't they awesome?
Mm-hmm.
They're really, really
Sounds
good.
good.
So there's a sandwich thing, and we did 6 of the burgers. Oh, and we put bacon on them. I'm like, I know there was something awesome in there. Center cut bacon, so you want to get like something that's going to be, don't do the turkey bacon. It doesn't really have any less fat in it, and it's got all the processed crap. Center cut bacon, organic if you can. Caputo's is a really good source for a lot of that stuff, and they have great prices on things. So I cooked all the bacon, drained it on the paper towels. 1 piece of bacon has 1.5 grams of fat in it. So I put the bacon on my turkey burger with the other stuff and wrapped it in the leaf. And then I put individual burgers in little containers, and we had them all week. So I put my pepper on it, I put my guacamole on it, I put my bacon on it, and I just had the leaf separate. Put it in the microwave, then wrapped it in the leaf and ate it like that. So I had my little turkey burgers with bacon on them. It's like stuff that's natural, things like bacon and the avocado, things like that, oils. The problem with them is when we use those as the base of the meal rather than the enhancement. You want those to be the flavors, not the bulk. Yeah? Okay, so how's that for an idea?
And you can always season too.
Absolutely.
Like the Mrs. Dash is good that you can always, okay.
Read the labels. Make sure that it doesn't have anything in it that you can't read.
Yeah.
Or words like BHT added for freshness. It's like, preservatives don't do for us what they do for our food, unfortunately. It has the opposite effect.
Right.
So, things to think about. Okay. Let's see. So you were talking about things being boring. We did a few ideas about meat, veggies. One thing that makes veggies absolutely amazing is roasting them. It's so different from how they taste when they're steamed or microwaved or anything else. So grilling and roasting, I don't know what it is, but somehow it just locks flavor in better. So, broccoli. This one is awesome. You get the big broccoli, not the crowns, the big old stalk with the end, and you chop up the whole thing. So you want the ends, you want them fairly thin because they take longer to cook than the tops do. Put a whole head of broccoli in a Ziploc bag, put in a tablespoon of either melted coconut oil or olive oil, and shake the whole thing up. Lay it out on a cookie sheet, and season it with a little bit of salt and pepper, any seasonings that you want. Put it in the oven, 425 for up to 25 minutes until it's tender crisp. So it's fork tender, but it's still the bright green. Pull it out of the oven, eat whatever you want fresh, and portion the rest of it out. It's actually delicious, not even heated up, but you could heat it back up too if you wanted. But it's just like that flavor, the roasted veggies, they don't have to be cooked anymore. They just have, it's that flavor. You could take roasted root vegetables. So beets are a higher carbohydrate vegetable, as are sweet potatoes and onions, which doesn't make them bad at all, but you just have to consider that when you're putting those kinds of things together. But there are some other root vegetables: turnips, kohlrabi. What are some other ones that we've used? Jicama.
Mm-hmm.
But the kohlrabi, it looks like, I don't know, a little mini UFO. It looks alien, but it's a green kind of knobby sort of thing. But it's a turnipy shape, but it's green. It's got a carb concentrate closer to like broccoli and cauliflower. So I like to take that and turnips and some onion, shake that up in the bag with my oil, and roast that. So they're very filling, but they don't have as many carbs, so you can have a bigger amount.
What's that long radish?
The daikon.
The daikon.
Daikon radish,
That's good.
which are the ones that are shredded for sushi and sashimi. You know, do you ever
yeah.
go out and they have the white balls of something? That's daikon radish. That's the really fine,
Okay.
shredded, tumbleweed looking.
It's a lot more milder than the other radish.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Spicy.
Right.
So roast some veggies, but roast yourself a couple big trays of it. Asparagus is delicious roasted. Put that in the bag. Shake it up with your olive oil. Lay it out on the pan. Roast it in the oven just till it's fork tender. Then you'll want to eat it just right out of the fridge. So if you have stuff like that, you find yourself looking forward to those things because the flavor's to die for. The no oodles. Did you see my
I did.
thing on the no oodles? So, Fruitful Yield, Whole Foods, any place that has a dedicated gluten-free section.
Mm-hmm.
There are, if you've heard of the Pasta Zero noodles,
Yes.
they have some that are made from tofu, which doesn't fit in with our Whole 30, but there are also some that are made from yam starch or spinach. But they look like ramen noodles, and they're in a little, it's in a liquid-filled little packet with all the noodles in there, so it looks like it's ramen noodles. And that's the texture that they have. But they're already hydrated, so you just have to drain them and saute them in a little bit of oil. One of my favorite ways to have those is with sauteed mushroom, wilted spinach, so you just put the spinach in the pan long enough to wilt it, with those and grilled chicken. It's like this really filling pasta dish. It's excellent with red peppers and asparagus too.
Okay.
So think about some of those little combinations. But if you make yourself a double or triple portion, then you've got a week's worth
Right.
that you can just have in little things. So anytime you cook, make extra. But I use Sunday and then Wednesday as my prep days, and I make food. We take the snap peas. Those are easy because that's like throw them in a bag. So you can have snap peas and carrots and some celery. I'll do a little, like the little shot glass things, half full with almond butter, so it's like a tablespoon, and I'll put that on my celery for some flavor and eat celery like that. So, little things like that can make all the difference. Salad in a bag. So if you want to take a salad with you to work, put it in a Ziploc bag, put the teaspoon of olive oil and the vinegar in a little thing that you can then pour in there and shake it all up. Take a fork, eat it out of the bag. Packets of tuna with the broccoli, the shredded broccoli slaw, and some slivered almonds and some, no, that's it. I was going to say grilled chicken, but I already said tuna. So you can take the broccoli slaw that's already in the bag.
Right.
Take a packet of tuna, half the bag of broccoli slaw, and you can and then some slivered almonds, which you can put down in the broccoli slaw. Take your little dressing cup of vinegar and olive oil, and you can do flavored vinegars. Take that with you. You rip off the tuna thing, put it all together, shake it up, and you've got yourself a little like Asian kind of tuna salad. So that's an easy to go because you can just, you're just grabbing some stuff, but we'll prep our veggies like that for 3 or 4 days. And then in the morning it's grab, throw. Whipped cauliflower is another really good one. So you can steam the cauliflower first and drain it, and then you put it in the blender and you puree it. So it's like baby food kind of. I add some salt and some pepper to it, and this last time that I did it, I actually took a couple of slices of bacon and chopped it up really little and stirred it into it. You can add some chives and some caramelized onions and it is like the garlic mashed potatoes, but it's good for you. So we'll have several little containers of the cauliflower and have those as part of our food. So I pretty much I keep it simple. So I have all my bags of veggies or my containers of veggie something or other. and I have my meats seasoned or whatever that have been prepped. And then I have my little extra fats like my almonds or my guacamole or my olive oil or whatever. And I get all of those ready so I can just put it together. And then I have them weighed. So I know this is 3 ounces of sirloin. So then I can just plug my stuff in as I go, and it's easy. And you just kind of mix and match. But I've found that when I first started really making these kinds of changes, it was hard because I wasn't used to it. Now, I prefer it because I feel so good when I'm eating like this. Like there's, I don't have the gastric distress, and I don't have these lethargic times, and I don't like the cravings. It's not there anymore. But I think it has a lot to do with the body just being overall healthy. So.
Do you ever cut loose? Like
Absolutely.
a glass of
Yep.
wine and
Yeah.
maybe a little bit of dessert once in a while?
Sure. And you have a couple of things that you do, like once a month, go ahead. Have a meal that you just really don't worry about it. Don't be an idiot, but go out and just enjoy yourself. Once a month, your body can recover from that. Any more than that, you have to pay back. So if you go over by 20 grams of carbs on Sunday, then Monday you have to reduce by 20 grams of carbs. You spread it out through the day. Then Tuesday, 10 grams down. Wednesday, 10 grams down. It's a double down. So you pay back twice what you take. So there's your, it's like, do I want it that bad?
It's not
Right.
worth it.
Yeah.
It's not worth it at that point.
Exactly. For the next 30 days, just stay away from.
Obviously, yeah.
But then when you put it back in, so quite honestly, wine and beer are worse for you. My personal opinion is that the neat, hard alcohols are better because of, especially if they're at the top shelf, without any
Pops or
Yeah,
soda or
yeah.
tonic or.
So,